Okay, so this is the assessment to advise that I've discussed so far. Okay, and I'm going to take the opportunity to just as kind of reminder to discuss about the assessment too. It is a group assessment. I would suggest that you guys decide the target date when you want to make a decision about the business. Okay, so you can move on quickly, and this is the structure I suggest you to adopt: the executive summary. Okay, introduction, where you introduce the company, introduce the product. Okay, and a short summary, a summary of your macro-environmental analysis. You can go back to the previous assessment. Please paraphrase it. And also a summary of your micro-environmental actors. Please paraphrase it again. The entry mode, that's one that you discuss. Which one is the best? Is that joint venture or acquisition or merger, okay, or greenfield operation? So that's the one that you want to discuss. Your SWOT analysis, and then you discuss about your marketing aspects and business objectives and marketing strategy, operational strategy, and risk, and your conclusion. Okay, so that's basically the ones that we are going that we need to cover in our assessment. Okay, right. Any questions, guys?
I do have one question, Eddie, if you've got time.
Yeah, sure. We still have around 9 minutes, yes.
In your presentation tonight, you had a reference for Cliff from 2012.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 11. Yep.
Can you just tell me what that is? I'm assuming it's a marketing reference.
It is actually an article from World Advertising Research Council, and we've been the reason I bring that to us is basically, to our discussion, is basically there's an interesting idea behind it, where business people have been pondering around the idea whether we can implement consistent business strategy or not. Okay, remember, in a nutshell, the core of business strategy is the positioning. Okay, think about if I can be off track a little bit to show you that the core strategy of business is the positioning. If you think about a business, okay, whatever business that you think of, let's say you promised, let's say it is an airline business, and you promise to offer the friendliest airline flight experience. Okay. And if you have one passenger asking for pillow and you can't provide that for the customers, then the question is, who is the person in charge in the pillow business, okay, for the airline? Well, it's not only about marketing, okay? It's actually about the entire business operations, right? Therefore, as I mentioned to you before, positioning is the core strategy of the business. Okay, sorry to take to give you a long answer, basically, but yes, it is taken from the World Advertising Research Council. Any reason why you asked that that article?
Oh, it's just as you were going through, I thought it was. I thought it was good that this the whole concept of the universal truth. It seems to be quite fundamental about how business works, and it's very rare that you get that kind of top level understanding or any sort of reference to that top level understanding of how business works and how business is thought through or built.
Yeah, it is an interesting one, and again, as you mentioned, it is actually the reason why I put it in our discussion, because again, at the corporate level, especially when it comes to international operation, we've been pondering around the idea. Okay, if we build this brand, if we build this business, okay, if we have that strategy in this market, in our home market, can we do the same thing in the host markets, right? you name any brands, right? They always have that kind of challenge in the management office. Okay, can we have that same strategy to the other markets? Okay, yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys?
No, nothing from me.
No. Okay, Davis, how about you, mate?
Yeah. I want to take you back to the globalization assumption.
Yep.
That any product which is solving the needs of the developing economy cannot meet the standards of a developed economy. Do you think that's currently, because cost of production in developed economies is very high, and there's competition from local product coming from these developing economy, emerging economy?
Right.
How do you view that?
So, sorry, can you repeat that again? How do I, what?
Do you think that assumption is is it worth at this moment? Maybe it was.
Yeah, it is actually the two major assumptions that GE has proven to be wrong, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, because the assumptions underpinning the globalization strategy is actually revolves around all other economies, like the emerging economies, will evolve the same way like the developed economies. Well, they're not. Okay, if you look at China, India, Indonesia, for instance, well, you will find the markets actually consist of a range of consumers, right? The consumers who are very sophisticated. Okay, if you look at Jakarta, for instance, there lots of consumers are very sophisticated as well. When it comes to health check, they may not do that in Jakarta. They may go to Singapore just to do the health check, general health check. Okay, they are very sophisticated. Okay, and the second assumption that they put up is the products that meet the need of consumers in the developing economy will not work in the developed economy. That is another assumption that GE has proven to be wrong. Okay, so yes, as you mentioned that, they're not correct, they're not accurate. Okay, because if we go back to Craig's question before about the universal positioning, it is actually starting from the universal need. Consumers need, basically, consumers share similarities in terms of needs. Okay, well, of course, we can segment them based on different customers' needs, but they share similarities if we go back to the Maslow's theory as well, for instance. Okay, does it answer your question, Davis? Okay. Brilliant. All right, guys, any more questions? No, all good?